Hello and welcome back to another season of Yuck, Dumb, Boo, and Bum, the NES Classic Baseball Game Review Show. It is our second season, so naturally it makes sense to start with Bases Loaded 2, the second season. As you can see, the start page is almost identical to the first one, but then after that it really does change. You have two options, as you saw at that home page there, to start or continue. And continuing is playing an exceptionally long season, like in the first one. Here you got one player, two player, and then Eastern and Western League, which is pretty much the same teams as you saw in the first one. So let's pick the Western League. And again, right, you just have the letter. So let's go with H. So we are H. We are playing against it automatically chooses the opponent for you. Because you play a set season. I actually don't remember how long. It's about 100 and something games. It's crazy long. Nobody would sit through it, ever. And if you manage to get through an entire season of that, even with the save function, of having a password function, good for you. I am not doing that. So, you can see our lineup here. You have the options to change the players, or change the order in the lineup, which in theory is a good idea, but when I do that, you can't see any stats. So if I swap Nelson to Lauer, for example, I don't know what Nelson is like. I don't know what Lauer is like. So unless you really have played this a bunch with a team and you know everybody's stats or you write them down, which back when I was younger, that was a great way to do it. We don't do that now, but when I was playing games when I was younger, that was the way to do it. You're really not going to know who's any good at what. So for these purposes, let's just keep the lineup the same. And then you get your pitchers. So pitchers, the only thing you've got is ERA. So if you're going through them all, looks like, who was it? There was a 294 guy, yeah, Kane. So we'll use Kane as our starting pitcher here for Hawaii. And there you go, Western League, Game 1, and this is it. Now that'll be Game 2, Game 3. You'll play everybody in a 3-game series. So you'll notice the gameplay looks a lot different from Bases Loaded 1. Looks a lot more like Bases Loaded 3, frankly, almost identical to what you'll see in the third game. And my general incompetence aside, it is a little harder to hit the ball here. You have the option to press to the left, to the right, anything like that, but usually it's just best to just take a regular swing right across the middle, and you have the best chance of making contact with the ball. So the other thing you may have noticed here is the fielders are kind of angled sideways, or the field itself is, rather than an over-the-top view or looking out from the catcher's position. So here, you're going to have to try to figure out how to make your players move sideways. Which is actually tricky, and I think that's probably one of the weakest features of this game. It is a pain in the butt trying to do that. All right, so we're on the mound now, this purple Hawaii team. And yeah, as you can see, depending on which way the batter is, determines which way your fielders are facing, or the field is facing, I should say. I don't know why I keep saying fielders, but the field is facing. So here's a lefty. You saw how that was. Now the next batter is a righty, so if he connects with the ball, you'll see it begin from the opposite way, which adds, frankly, to the confusion. I've tried playing this a little bit before we started this up here. And right there actually was one of the good examples of it, is you really have to avoid trying to move too much before you can see that fielder. Because what would happen is I try to anticipate a play, but you're running at such a not natural angle. Your guy is essentially going diagonally because of the angle the field is at. So you sort of wait now till it gets on the field. And as you can see, well, that didn't work out so well. But they start running typically in the right direction for you. And so that makes a big help. And then you pick it up the rest of the way. If you start trying to run on your own, they won't move for you anymore. And if they don't do that, then good luck trying to find that ball before it gets to the fence, quite frankly. So, all right, we got 2 on, 2 out. Let's work on a little bit of the pitching stuff here. So, all the pitches I've done so far, I haven't done anything. I've just literally thrown them straight across. And oddly enough, they miss a lot of those. Not that time. So, yeah, nobody's getting to that. My right fielder, I don't know what he was doing. Throwing is pretty intuitive, right? You press A and you press the position you're throwing to there, obviously to second base, and it works out pretty well. Maybe we'll work on hitting for their fielding. We got a lot of work to do on fielding. But again, with the pitching, right? I'm just putting 3 right over the middle to swing and miss every time. So it is a bit of a pain in the butt to hit the ball. And like I said, even though you can do outside, inside like that, usually your safest bet is just to do a straightaway swing, not press any other button. So here I'm going to go for extra bases. Down and B will get you to the extra base. And now if I decide I'm going to try to go for third, bad call. I press back, and A, and I am out. Ooh. Yeah, they're, unlike the first game, they're pretty merciless as far as fielders go, in that if you are a little off that bag coming back, they're not just going to look you back, they're going to try to throw back. Consequently, if you're the fielder on that play, what you end up having to do is if you throw that thing back too early, they're just going to turn and go the other way. And so you wind up with rundowns where you don't have a very good chance of getting the runner out. That's one area that the computer has a huge advantage on the player. Now this is a game for me. I played a couple of times when I was a kid. I owned Bases Loaded and Bases Loaded 3. So Bases Loaded 2 was one I only had probably for a couple of weekend rentals. That was it. So this is the game that by far of the Bases Loaded I had the least experience with. Actually, maybe Bases Loaded 4. Bases Loaded 4 came into existence pretty much at the tail end of Nintendo in about 93, I want to say. And that one was one that it looks like Bases Loaded 3 and plays almost identical to Bases Loaded 3. And then, since they're not really updating rosters per se, because it's not real players, I don't necessarily know the purpose of this. But after that, they went on to the Super Nintendo, and there's a couple of games on there. I didn't have Super Nintendo, but I think there was quite a few options by that point to play games on Super Nintendo as far as baseball goes, so it didn't get quite as much attention as I would say it probably did the series on the NES. So this game, definitely I've had, as I said, my share of troubles. Oh, that guy just ran past the ball. I guess maybe it was over him? Oh, he got it that time. He puts up his purple glove. It looks like a shield, but as long as that ball hits him, nobody's making errors on those. If that ball hits you, you've caught it. There was a nice grab by the second baseman. If you hold the button down as you make the play, hold the direction one, say you're going to the right and you hold down the right button, your player will slide in that direction, which kind of looks amusing, but in reality is not, doesn't serve any purpose other than, oh, I pressed the wrong button to get back. Oh, now what do we have here? This is going to be a rundown. Oh, I couldn't get him to turn around. That is actually a tricky thing, because there I had to press back and A to get him to go back, but rather than pressing up to go to the base that was up, no matter which base you're going to, you have to press down with B to get him to move forward. So again, like I said, not completely intuitive, as evidenced by the 2 runners I've had thrown out already. The good news, though, as you can see, is we're already in the 3rd inning. So we're actually moving along a little bit, which is nice. Because the original Bases Loaded game, it would take you probably 40 to 45 minutes to play a game of it. And that's just too long. So, I mean, at least this way you can get through a game in a decent enough time frame. Well, that ball was really well hit. I didn't move my guy there. I didn't touch him. And he just stood there on the edge of the wall. He caught it off the wall. So, again, that's what I was saying as far as not really wanting to move your fielders too much. Oh, this guy is stealing. watch this. See, I threw back too quickly. Now he's going to go there. And we keep going pretty much until I screw up. And see, he seems to get back just about every time, but I've been gunned out twice. So yeah, stealing, don't do it in this game. It is painfully slow to get that guy to move. And see, I waited there to try and get him go to second, because if I throw that ball back too quickly, he's just standing on first. That was not an intuitive play by the shortstop. Looked like he was going the wrong way. Ah, that's their version of charge when they've got a runner in scoring position. Oh, no, he's not going to catch that, and he's not going to stop it, so that's fine. Oh, this guy's going home. Nope, see, as soon as I do that, he's going to go back. But if there were runners on first and third, there would be a decent possibility that guy would go to second on the play. So, like I said, they're aggressive, and it's really difficult to try and get them out. Your players just don't make plays at the right speed, I guess. Maybe not even necessarily quickly enough. If you do it quickly enough, they go back to the bag. But, you know, like I said, that guy on first would have gone to second if that base wasn't occupied, and then now you're stuck in a situation where you're probably giving up a run to somebody. It's like watching kids play. Although one team plays more like children than the others. I'll let you guess which one. So here I'm going to try to catch this ball, and look at that guy. Look how far he just slid out of position on that one. It's, again, it looks cool, it's fun, but it's not really any good. So if I press B, force him to go back to the bags. Although that one I pressed to throw to first, and this time he threw home, but before he did. Now if I go far enough away, that guy sees it, he's gonna go home. This is exactly what I was talking about, right? Did not get him out. If I do this, he will run again. Like he hasn't learned his lesson. Oh, and you can't cut it off, by the way. Cut-off throws don't work terribly well in this. Okay, we're not going to keep doing that. What we're going to instead do is bring in a relief pitcher. So relief pitchers, we already know what we've got, right? We already saw it's all the same guys. Interesting note, you use a guy in one game, you can't use him in the next game of the series. We're only playing one game, so it's not really an issue. So let's go with Melor. And by the way, I don't know what the heck a biorhythm is, but this comes up every single time. This was a big feature they had in their game. I'm actually going to show you something about it in a minute. As my guy flops into the... That's a really awkward run. The last game with the bullpen cart, and I guess you can see why, because these guys, it's like watching Gumby try to run. So this guy's a different delivery. There's a couple different deliveries in this game. He's got kind of a submarine thing going on, which is good. But if you press down with it, you're going to bounce the pitch it. And if you press down and to the side, well, you can guess what's going to happen there. They're going to swing at it, because they swing at a lot of stuff in this game. It's really weird. Let's try that again. This time he held up. Fortunately, the backstop is so small that... Oh, I tried to throw. I just held the button, and what does he do? Power slide. All right. Let's see if we can get this guy out here. That one I didn't press anything, and it's interesting because the last guy, when I didn't press anything, it was always a strike. This guy, if I don't press anything, if this guy doesn't swing, it's a ball. So it really does require some adjustments. That also will require some adjustments. So that was mainly me throwing to the wrong base. So this is a tricky game, as we've just established already. We were showing you a little earlier, though, the whole biorhythm thing, which is a big deal in this game for some reason, to affect how well the players can do. It's like hot and cold streaks you'll see in later games. So I'm going to show you an example of what happens here at the end of a game. Let's go to a game that I have already finished. Where is it? That's a good question. Let's give it a try here. We'll load the state from it. It should be right here. And there you go. This is a game I actually won. The only game of this I've played so far that I've won. It ended in 7 innings with a 9-run lead. And here's your sports reporter and weird, freaky sounds. And there's your biorhythm on every player from the previous game. All 9 of the hitters you had in your lineup. And then your 2 pitchers. So this team, the one thing you can tell as well with the date of birth, they're a very old team. 36, 37-year-old guys. Sorry, there you go. There's a 36-year-old, 35, 36-year-old guy. I can't do math, apparently. But I don't have to do much math because I've got 3 things listed there: physical, sensitivity, and intellectual. So Lucas is bad with all of those for some reason. Palmer is physically good, intellectually good, but he's not that sensitive. So maybe he'll hurt his other teammates' feelings. I'm not sure. Porter is even less sensitive. This is a very insensitive team. I guess playing in New York will do that to you. But yes, so it goes through this all the way through, and then it takes you to your next game with this kind of freaky music. So this is something else, isn't it? So the one thing I did, the second time I managed to play this game, I had a Nintendo Power thing with me, like the little magazine. So I got a code that gave me a 3-0 lead in the World Series. And what did you know? I actually won a game of it. So this was it. And I think it was with Philly, actually, that I won it, because that makes sense because of the code I have. And so at the end of that, you get your World Series victory. Will the World Series actually be handed out this year? I hope so. But whether it is or isn't, there's going to be a lot more of these coming at you. So, brand new season of Yuck, Dumb, Boo, and Bum. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to click down below to see everything from the first season, anything else that has come up from the second season, all the fun, all the good stuff, and all the classic Nintendo games. So, thanks so much for watching. We'll do this again next time.